Hi everybody, Happy New Year. I hope 2019 is treating you well so far. I just wanted to make this video about goal setting for the new year because this is the time of year, I know with my clients as well, businesses or individuals are doing their planning for the year, trying to set themselves up for a great 2019. So I just wanted to take a moment to share with you something I do at the beginning of every year, and that's to do a little workshop with myself to set me up for a great 2019 or whatever year lies ahead. So yesterday what I did this workshop with myself, but I also did it with a couple of friends as well. So I got together with Katie Carlisle from The Will Exist and Katia Williams from Easy Insta MCR, and we did two things. The first thing we did was look at the year that's just gone and did a review, and then we started to think about what we wanted for the coming year in our personal and professional lives. So as I say, I'll share that workshop with you. I'm going to share it with you in 3 parts, and today we're going to look at part 1. Now part 1 is all about looking at the year that has been. Now I know when you're really full of energy and enthusiasm going into a new year, you don't want to be dragged down by looking at the previous year that went behind you. However, last year you did some stuff that really worked. You had some successes. Even if it was a bad year for you, you definitely had some successes, and there are things you want to continue into the next year. There are probably some things that didn't go so well, and we probably want to avoid repeating some of our mistakes too. So before you even start to set goals for the year ahead, don't forget to reflect on the previous year. You don't have to spend long on it, but it can help. In this video, what I'm going to do is share 6 questions that me and my friends did in the workshop yesterday. I'll explain a little bit about why we do them, and then perhaps it's an exercise you can do quickly by yourself to prepare for 2019. So when we do the review of the year, the first question is, what felt disappointing? Now I know that doesn't feel like a positive start, but I use the word disappointing rather than failure or what went wrong. But what felt disappointing to you? So it might not be that anything went bad particularly, it might just be that it didn't turn out the way that you had hoped it would do. So make a note of what felt disappointing to you. So I wrote a list of things down. I actually, to be fair, couldn't think of that many, or I couldn't think of anything that wasn't easily rectifiable, but it's worth spending a little bit of time on this. The next question I want to ask, question 2, is what challenges did you face and how did you overcome them? So yeah, maybe not everything went to plan in 2018. You probably faced challenges, we all do, either personally or professionally. I think I combined the 2 words there. But you also overcame them. So you had some emotional resources, you had some skills, some personal qualities, or if you didn't have them, you certainly developed them, and that enabled you to overcome those obstacles. So what were they, and what resources or skills or qualities did you use to overcome them? And make sure you give yourself credit for those. There's also some valuable learning in there too. The next question is, what did you feel proud of? So this is your opportunity to celebrate your successes. What did you feel proud of, and why did you feel proud of it? So now, when you do this, you'll probably think of 1 or 2 things that you were really proud of, and then you might hit a bit of a blank. But keep going, and then think of every area of your life, whether it's in your personal life and your relationships, is it in your technical skills and abilities, is it in your personal qualities or skills that you've developed, is it in your fitness, your health, your spirituality? It doesn't really matter, but make sure you chalk up all those things that you're proud of. And it could be things that aren't tangible achievements. Now, once you get going with this, what you'll probably find is if you stick at it long enough, and please do stick at it long enough, then you'll end up having a massive list. And one of the beauties of doing this with friends like I did yesterday is that as you're in conversation, they'll mention things that they're really proud of that you had forgotten. It's an area of your life where you're probably proud of it too. So if you're good at personal reflection, maybe answer that one to yourself, but if you're not, chat with some friends, and chances are, if they know you well, they'll remind you of things you do really well that you had totally forgotten. It's a great feeling, it feels really motivational, it's a great way to get yourself fired up, and it also means you're not going to skirt over those successes, and you're more likely to build on them and repeat them for the year ahead. Remember to celebrate them too, and give yourself a big pat on the back. So the next question, having looked at what felt disappointing and what we're proud of, is to ask ourselves what we learnt. Now, you can either do this very practically in terms of any skills or knowledge, any qualifications or exams you passed, but also what did you personally learn? What were your takeaway lessons with regards to how you deal with people or decisions that you've made, or career moves or business moves? What were some of your key lessons? I'll share some of mine. I've got mine here, very messy, as you can see. I had to keep building on the successes. It got all over the place. But some of my ones were to get out and talk to people. If I work from home a lot and I'm going a little bit stir crazy, then I need to be much more proactive at getting out and talking to people. That's really, really key. I've also told myself that I need to put time in for my ideas and creativity in the diary first. It tends to go in the diary last. I'm pretty good at putting things like personal development in the diary, but my own creativity probably doesn't take as high a priority as delivering for others. So that's something that I've learned for last year. And I've got a whole list of those, but I've got probably 3 or 4 key learnings that I'm going to take into 2019. Then we have the next question, which is relationships. Which relationships really worked for you for 2019? Now, for 2018, sorry. I don't always ask myself that question, but this year I did, because I had this idea that I needed to go out and meet more people and expand my network. But the reality is I do that all the time. And what I really need to do is reconnect with and make better use of the relationships I already have in my life. I know loads of people, perhaps it's about deepening some of those connections. Which are the relationships that are no longer working for me, but also which are the ones that are really, really spurring me on, cheering me on, and challenging me in the way that I need to be stretched. So consider your relationships. Which ones were great for you in 2018? Which ones will you keep? And which ones do you need to move on from? And then finally, the final question, number 6, is how would you describe your 2018 in a sentence? My sentence was quite short. It was started slow, got there eventually. Katya and Katie had slightly longer sentences than mine, but really good summaries of their years, which contain some of their key learning. Now, in part 2, what I'll do is help you do an exercise which helps you set the foundations for looking ahead to 2019. But if you haven't done so already this year, it's been a whirlwind, please take a moment to have a look back at 2018. If you give it a go and you use these questions, let me know how you got on. Was it useful for you? Did you really enjoy this, celebrating your successes? Was there anything that you'd forgotten about that you're really, really proud of? Let me know how you got on, share your successes with us, and I'll see you in part 2.